Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Glens Falls Common Council meeting of Tuesday, March 8th. It's 7:30 regular session, and we will start off by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Mary Goodman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as always, we open up the floor to public comment. If anybody would like to make a public comment to the Common Council, please step forward and give us your name and address, and we'd love to hear what you have to say.
My name is Kate Roos. I live in Glens Falls, and I'm very happy to be here this evening. 4 days ago, the Conference of Mayors at their leadership annual meeting passed a resolution. They have a very busy agenda, much as you do this evening, with lots of different issues that they have to deal with. But they chose to prepare a special resolution which passed unanimously, and that resolution was about Ukraine. And you may wonder, what does a mayor or a common council have to do with Ukraine? Well, the environmental, humanitarian, economic, and military impacts of this crisis are enormous. Probably none of you remember World War II, unless it's a story your grandparents may have told you. But I am old enough that I do. And so I know that the crisis that Ukraine brings to us, even here in hometown USA, is very important. So I did send to you email a couple of days ago a much shorter version of the resolution that was passed by the Council of Mayors. And it's very simple, and I ask you to please consider it in whatever legal format is appropriate. And if there is no particular legal format that is appropriate, it would be wonderful if you would simply stand and say you support the resolution. My wording was, we, the elected officials of the city of Glens Falls, New York, speaking on behalf of our residents, express our desire for peace in the Ukraine and add our voices to those of others throughout the region and the world who oppose the horrific military and humanitarian crisis that is taking place in Ukraine as a result of the Russian invasion. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to let you all know, under new business, I prepared a public statement on our behalf that I'll read into the record. Thank you very much. Anybody else like to make some public comment?
My name is Paul Hancock. I live at 14 Hudson Avenue here in Glens Falls. And each of you received a letter from me about the plant on 84 Park Road, Sterigenics, and the threat it poses to the public health of the region. We know that there, according to the EPA, it is the only facility in the region that poses a threat of 1 in 6,800 higher cancer risk, and that is 1.5 times the EPA acceptable level. During that 5-year period, when they took that EPA modeling test, it also reached a level 1 in 4,000, which is almost 3 times what the acceptable level of exposure to the carcinogen of ethylene oxide. And so I guess I'm here simply to ask you what you think your response is going to be. I know I've been told that it has been given to the Sustainability Committee, and so I'm just here urging you to take action, either in the form of a letter to the DEC and the EPA, encouraging more scrutiny and more air monitoring of the region so that we can learn how much ETO we're being exposed to. That this is being done all over the country. There's hardly a sterogenics plant in the country that hasn't been subject to increased scrutiny. 11 states' attorneys have sent a letter to the EPA asking for more regulation, and New York State is one of those states that have done so. So I'm here to answer any questions and to, I guess, ask what your response is to the letter.
I don't have any response to the letter. I'll let the council speak if they wish. I don't have any response.
Oh, we have, I'm Ben Lapham, I'm in the fourth
Right
ward.
now.
We haven't had a sustainability committee meeting yet this year, so we haven't had a chance to discuss that. So one of the things that I'd said, I responded to you,
Right.
that the plant's not in Warren County or in Glens Falls, so that kind of leads me to believe that we are kind of taking a back seat on that, at least until we talk as a committee.
Okay, right. And the two, as I said in the letter, the two closest census tracts to sterogenics in Warren County have the highest rates of the two kinds of cancers that are associated with exposure to ETO. So it is of concern to a wider region. And as the letter to Alicia Lemke, who was the general manager of sterogenics, stated from the EPA, that in fact it is a serious health threat to a 5-mile radius, and within that 5-mile radius there are 46,000 people. They claim 20 schools. It's hard to believe unless they're counting daycare centers that it would be 20 schools within a 5-mile radius of 84 Park Road. But at any rate, I'm hoping that you do have a reaction. I'm hoping that you do have a response. So I'll leave it at that. We sent a letter to the DEC, to the Region 2 EPA Director of Air Resources, to the Governor, to the Attorney General, to both state representatives. We have not made we have not released it to the media yet, and so we're just kind of waiting until we go around to every town in the region and to both county boards of supervisors. So thanks so much for listening to me.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
I want to remind folks that the comments for the local lighting law are still open, and we should have some movement on that soon.
Can I just suggest one more thing?
Sure.
Mr. Jaycock?
Yeah.
We have a public meeting for the Sustainability Committee, and it'll be next week on, I think it's on Tuesday, at 7 p.m. So you can come at that time and address the committee. There'll be a meeting of the Sustainability Committee next week on Tuesday at 7 p.m. right here. So you can address it at that time.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay.
We'll go to committee reports. Councilman Clark.
Well, as Councilman Lapham said, we've scheduled a couple committee meetings. The Sustainability Committee meeting, which is chaired by Councilman Donahue, is at 7 o'clock on the 15th. And after that, we have an Economic and Community Development Committee meeting at 8 o'clock. And then on the 22nd, we have a Special Projects Committee meeting at 6:30. So I don't want to take Diana's thunder, so I will leave that to her. So, but these are initial meetings. We have the new council members, and we just want to bring them up to speed on what projects initiatives been going on, where we stand with certain things, and looking towards the future. So that's where we are with that, and then we'll really start getting into it when we're prepared. So, thank you.
Thank you. you.
What's up?
Councilman Donovan.
Well, I guess I better look into sustainability and what I have to do with it.
That's right, yes, you will.
Well, so this is my,
Can sustain the meeting.
throw me in the pool, you know?
That's
Sink
right.
or swim.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Lander.
Just a report, we're still waiting to hear back, Mayor, if I'm correct, from the CSEA on that contract.
CSEA, yes, we haven't heard back.
Right. So
That's right.
that's my report.
All right, yes. Councilwoman Palmer.
Building and Codes Committee met tonight just before this meeting. We met with our consultant from Labella at Larkin who helped the city. We engaged them to proactively do a review of our Building and Codes Department to look at the way the department operates and make recommendations. And we had a really good discussion tonight with our committee, some of our staff, and several of the council members to kind of talk about the report, what it said, and what our next steps might be. We have an additional committee meeting scheduled on the 22nd at 5:30 to continue discussing that, and also some operating permits that we'll be looking at too. The Recreation Committee will be meeting on the 15th at 5:30, and that is our first Recreation Committee meeting. And it'll be kind of an introduction meeting to the committee, to kind of what our facilities are, what our goals are, and just to get us started.
Thank you. Councilman Lapp.
Nothing to report.
And Councilwoman Good.
Not quite yet, but I'm excited on that.
Yeah, the first meeting, it's great.
Well, I think a special projects committee meeting scheduled. That could report.
Oh, that's good.
That's
I need help.
great.
That's, so that'll be Tuesday.
It's the 22nd.
22nd.
Yeah, will be before, we have the Building Codes Committee, and then special projects, and then we have our council meetings. So be a busy night.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, under voice vote, are there any resolutions the council would like me to pull for discussion? So resolution 1 is a resolution approving the minutes of the March 1st, 2022 meeting of the Glens Falls Common Council. Resolution 2, approving the city clerk monthly report. Resolution 3, to set a public hearing for Tuesday, March 22nd at 7:20 to review the CBG program for the past calendar year of 2021. Resolution 4 is to set a public hearing for May 10th, 2022 at 7:25 to establish the funding priorities and a draft budget for the 2022 CDBG annual action plan, and under a 3-year 2020 to 24 HUD consolidation plan. Resolution 5 is a resolution set a public hearing on Tuesday, March 22nd at 7:25 on a proposed local law 12022 to revise the Chapter 107, the Fire Department regulations, ambulance services, and administrative fees.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Under roll call vote, does any council member wish to pull a resolution for discussion? Resolution 6 is to approve the City of Glens Falls Community Development Manual Payment Plan in the amount of $26,098.75. Resolution 7 is to approve a tax payment agreement for 15 Tremont Street. Resolution 8 is to authorize the work by High Voltage Electric Service, Inc. in the amount of $11,280 to repair the A1 feeder control switch at the wastewater treatment plant. Resolution 9 to increase the revenue code A00999-1589A, miscellaneous public safety income, by $9,240, and to increase the budget expense code appropriation A23120-1000, Police Department Personal Services, by $9,240. Resolution 10 is to authorize a correction for the 2022 City of Glens Falls tax roll due to an unlawful entry. the amount of taxes to remove from the tax roll would be $60,446.03 due to a Section 8 pilot agreement. Resolution 11, to approve the planning to construct a pole barn behind the rec center ice rink to store ski trail grooming equipment with permits, site preparation, and cost covered by the Friends of Coles Woods. Resolution 12, resolution to approve an encroachment permit for renewal of Pharmacy Resto Bar at 18 to 22 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, for the placement of sandwich board on the sidewalk in front of the restaurant for a period of June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2023. Resolution 13, to approve an encroachment permit renewal for Pharmacy Resto Bar, 18 to 22 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, for the placement of chairs and tables in front of the restaurant for a period of June 1st, 2022 to May 31st, 2023, in compliance with the ADA regulations and current New York State COVID-19 guidelines. Per the mayor's permission, Pharmacy 1822 Ridge Street and Radici 26 Ridge Street are to take turns placing 1 or 2 tables in the alleyway during the encroachment period permit, with the understanding that all tables and chairs will be removed before the business closure at the end of the day, and any vehicle or parking in the alleyway will be a maximum of 10 minutes, loading and unloading only. Resolution 14, to approve the encroachment permit for the renewal of the Queensberry Hotel at 88 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, for the placement of sandwich board on Ridge Street sidewalk for a period of June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2023. Resolution 15, to approve an encroachment permit for the renewal of Queensberry Hotel, 88 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, for the placement of chairs and tables in front of Maple Street side for the period of June 21st, 2022, from June 1st, 2022 to May 31st, 2023, in compliance with ADA regulations and New York State COVID guidelines. Resolution 16, to approve encroachment permit for Spot Coffee, 221 Glen Street, Glens Falls, for the placement of trash dumpster on Lapham Place for a period from June 1st, 2022 to May 31st, 2023. 17, a resolution to approve encroachment permit for renewal of Spot Coffee, 221 Glen Street, for the placement of chairs and tables in front of the restaurant for a period from June 1st, 2022 to May 31st, 2023, in compliance with ADA regulations and current New York State COVID-19 guidelines. Resolution 18, to approve encroachment permit for the renewal of First Baptist Thrift Shop, 100 Maple Street, for the placement of a sandwich board on the corner of Maple and Ridge Streets to indicate the days and hours of operation for the period of June 1st, 2022 to May 31st, 2023. Resolution 19, to approve a mobile food unit license application from Tonya Barros, Cooley's Ice Cream, 366 Reynolds Road, Fort Edward, New York, for a seasonal 6-month license to operate Cooley's Ice Cream truck in the city of Glens Falls in compliance with the New York State COVID-19 guidelines. Resolution 20, to approve a mobile food unit license application from Keith Behaney, DBA Sherry's Crab Cakes, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, for a 1-week license to vend at the Larac Arts Festival on June 18th through the 19th, 2022, in compliance with New York State COVID-19 guidelines. And Resolution 21, approve an encroachment permit for Tom Jenkins Excavating, LLC, working with the Glens Falls National Bank to remove and replace the sidewalk and installing new water and sewer lines in front of 240 to 250 Glen Street, with the understanding that the area is to be cordoned off and allowing for pedestrian access according to ADA regulations, per attached stipulations from the city engineer for April 4, 2022 through May 31st, 2022. Resolution 22, a resolution to allow the Controller's Office to increase revenue line A00999-2680 insurance recoveries by $1,722.79 and increase the expense line A23410-4423 motor vehicle highway maintenance by $1,722.79. And Resolution 23, a resolution to approve the warrant.
Question,
Go ahead.
if I resolution 13 there,
Yes.
who owns that alley?
It's a public right of way,
Is that right?
and so we've allowed them permission to share it as long as they can share it nicely, then we're allowing them to do that.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, thank you. And so, it is a roll call vote, please.
Councilman at-large Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Tonya,
Yes.
Councilman Landry,
Yes.
Councilwoman Palmer, yes, Councilman Lapua,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bennett.
Yes.
They all pass. Thank you so very much. Under old business, Councilman Clark,
I have none.
Councilman Donovan,
Nothing.
Councilman Landry.
I'd just like to make a comment. I'd like to thank the lady who came before us this evening to talk about peace in Ukraine. You can probably see from my head, I'm old enough to remember World War II. I wasn't there. We remember my dad coming home and never talking about it because it was such a horrific event. And it's unfortunate that we're there today, and I just pray that we can get beyond this point. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Palmer.
I would like to thank everybody involved with helping us pull off one Fire and Ice event last week. It was a really fun community event. There were lots of families, people from all different age groups really. The DJ did a great job, DPW, the Recreation Department, and all our volunteers did a really great job pulling that off for our community.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councilman Lappin.
I'd just like to thank Diana for all that she did on that, because this was scrambling at the last minute, and there were people to, I came in late. I was supposed to be there at 7:30, and I got there about 8:30.
Tied up.
But it was a really great time. There was a lot of people out there, and it's nice to have something this time of year outside where people can connect. So that was a really great thing that you did, and I just wanted to say it specifically for you.
Councilwoman Gooden.
I'd just like to echo about Ukraine, that our prayers are definitely with you. I won't be here this weekend, but my prayers definitely will be with Ukraine, and I will get the word out to my organization so that they will be there. And my heart just goes out, and also to
Mr. Reynolds.
I know, Paul. Yeah, Paul, there's been a lot of talk too about what you were discussing. And I have been on the bandwagon with the Saratoga group. And I actually would like to talk to you about that. Get in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Under new business, Councilman Clark.
I have none.
Councilman Donovan.
I have none.
Councilman Landry.
A couple of things, Mayor. I recently had a chance to see the construction progress over at the Queensbury Hotel. It's interesting to watch from the outside. It's even more interesting to take a look at it on the inside. Tyler Herrick tells me that they're hoping for a late spring opening. It's really going to increase the capacity of events that they can have downtown, which is a wonderful thing, because when their capacity increases like that, the benefit is to the downtown merchants. So that's a great thing. I'm hoping, with fingers crossed, because I watched the weather tonight, that we've got our big snow days behind us, but again, reminding residents that, ice is an issue on sidewalks too, and free stands available down at the DPW. I'm sure most residents in the city received an assessment notice in the mail within the last couple of days. A number of my constituents have reached out to me. I this morning called KLW on the telephone. After I picked my wife up off the floor, I realized that my assessment had gone up considerably, and that my estimated taxes were going to go up 40%. Now, there's obviously something that's not correct there, but my point is this. The people from KLW, when I called this morning, were very, very helpful. It was very quick. It was very easy. I have my appointment next week. And I recommend everybody who has questions or issues to go through that process, because it does work. In regards to Ukraine, the World Awareness Children's Museum on Warren Street has got a great display down there of artwork from children in Ukraine, and I think that's what we see that breaks our heart the most right now. down there just recently, and it's great to see what they have there, and it really opens your mind a lot about how connected we are to the whole world. I'd also like to congratulate Nicole Herwig. She was the curator, assistant curator at the Hyde Museum. She's accepted the position to be the new director of the Chapman Museum. Chapman Museum is one of the most wonderful things we have in the city, and a great enhancement to our arts district. So I welcome her, and I'm glad that talent like that stayed in our city. I'd like to recognize that today is International Women's Day, and with that, I'd like to acknowledge all the women that I sit here with today, all the women that work in City Hall and work in our city government. You bring a wonderful perspective to everything that we do, and I'm honored to work with all of you, believe me. And again, hats off to the people who, Diana and all the city employees who made Fire Nice work. That really defines what we are as a community. To see an event like that, that's why people live in the city, and hats off to you. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Tom?
Friends of Coles Woods, Resolution 11, thank you very much.
You are very welcome, sir. Councilwoman Palmer, new business?
I reported on the CARES Act funding last week, but I saw that a press release went out, and it seems like it's actually now available for people to call. So we had allocated $40,000 towards housing for landlords and tenants, and that is being administered through Warren Hamilton County's Community Action and also Family Services. So people who may need those resources can call, and they have to be a Glens Falls resident, meet certain income guidelines. But that's there, and I was just going to request that we put that on our website. I know it went out as a notification, but in the area that we had already put the housing resources, just so that it's all in one place. And just to add to the Ukraine talk, I'm sure we probably don't even know all the efforts going on in the city, but you know, the Children's Museum, the Morgan and Company did a Cook for Ukraine event where they donated money to UNICEF. And I know there's a walk this weekend put on by the two local temples. So I'm really grateful for the kind of grassroots efforts that come up from our community in times like this. That's it.
Thank you. And so I'd like to make the following public statement, read it into the record. So we, the elected officials of the city of Glens Falls, New York, speaking on behalf of our residents, wish to express our sincere desire for peace in Ukraine and add our voices to those throughout the region and the world who oppose this horrific military and humanitarian crisis taking place as a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I don't know that there's anything that we can say that's enough to show our support. We do know that the walk is happening this weekend. I hope to see you all there, and that is for that. I want to thank all of you for the work you've done, the committee meetings that you have scheduled in front of you. I know that everybody is busy and we're working hard, and I think the Glens Falls residents appreciate it. Although the assessment is tough, I want to make sure that everybody understands that that the same money, the amount of money collected for taxes, last year it was $10.6 million. That money is not going to change except with the little bit that might change with cost of living increase, right? That's not what this is about. The assessment is about the value of the homes. So if the value of a home across the board, I believe in Glens Falls, I think the one thing that I've looked at several pages at random of these assessments, I've yet to see a house that's value did not go up. I did see some people's taxes did go down, and then I saw, so of the 4,000 properties in Glens Falls, about 1,000 of them went up and more than 25%. It's alarming. We're going to get a lot of calls, a lot of upset people. But I think that there's a good reason for it, but I just wanted everybody to be able to remind everyone that doesn't mean that we're going to now collect, if the property values go up 40%, that we're collecting 40% more taxes. That's not the case. Tax rate goes down. Now individual homes my particular home, I'm sorry to say, went down. I'm sorry to say that my taxes went down. I wish that I could say that it just, some went down, some went up, and a vast majority of the state 10% more or less. So I feel your pain, but I don't want to be insincere. I wanted to be upfront and make an announcement that mine went down. And as much as my wife wasn't on the floor, Bob, I do appreciate it, and we will do everything we can to make sure they're fair. I don't know that we can make everyone happy, but I think that you'll enjoy your interaction. I appreciate you saying that. That company is fantastic. We've got 6 weeks for people to come and make their case, and they should.
And
So-
plus, and besides too, Mayor, we should also just remind people that we haven't had an assessment in
15 years.
15 years. So
yeah.
that's the huge difference.
It is, and I've had some people come up to me today I went to the luncheon, the International Women's Day luncheon. I was, never felt such a minority in my life. And they were all very kind. I appreciated it. Their patience to invite me and have me in. But at times, several people came and thanked me for the taxes going down. And I know there's a lot of that, but there's also a lot of going up, and it's tough. It doesn't seem like anything I can say is going to make that hurt go away. The fact that somebody's house for the last 15 years was valued at one particular neighbor of mine, their house was valued at $90,000. It's now over $190,000. Their taxes went up. Now, it doesn't help for me to say, well, yeah, but for the last 15 years, you paid less taxes that wasn't necessarily fair, because I do have friends of mine that sold their houses recently in Glens Falls, and they got not only did they get more than their asking price, but they got almost double their assessed value. And so I don't wish to, there's nothing I can say to make this, we knew this was a problem. I just want you to, the new council to know that the old council struggled over this. We didn't put it off. We couldn't afford it. We couldn't put it off any longer. This needed to happen. We're going to make sure that we continue to invest in our city to make sure that we don't let this happen again.
Right, Mayor, and I think, this highlights the fact that, that this is what happens when we kick the can down the road, and we need to make, I know, we won't let that happen. I mean, we have a finite time here, but this is something that we can't get to 70% again. That's not right. So we just need to look at that and make sure, and I appreciate that, Mayor, so thank you.
Thank you.
I was going to say, I definitely fielded quite a lot of calls from people who were upset yesterday and with their taxes going up or with their value going up, and therefore their taxes, several of my constituents did go up, including mine substantially. And one of the things I told people was to, go to the city YouTube page and watch the information sessions,
Right.
because a lot of the questions I was getting are really clearly answered in those videos. It doesn't change necessarily the assessed value, but it does explain it, and a lot of people found that reassuring. So just want to encourage people to get that information too.
Great.
And we had 3 of those, by the way, 3 of those information.
And we got 6 weeks for people to go in and talk, and please, I'm hoping that they will. They've got time set aside, they're ready, and they're willing, and it's part of our fee to get this done. So it's the last council meeting before St. Patrick's Day. I wish that everybody would, I'd like to say happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. It's a real holiday to me. And then the New York State Basketball High School, New York State Public High School Athletic Association, the tournament is just after St. Patrick's Day that weekend. This is a huge event for Glens Falls. I know I've talked to you about bringing events to Glens Falls. This one is a big one for us. We need to continue and work on all the other events that we can. So thank you all very much. And I think that's it. Do we have anybody else for public comment? Well then, with that, would somebody have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.